Concentrated on the beat.
Buy this beat now. You know you like it.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming back to me. I appreciate all the time. First of all, let me give y'all a thank you for running up them views for the Ask a Ninja and Legend ZA video. Really was proud of that video. Didn't really think it was gonna go too far, but I'm glad it did. But anyway, let's get this video to about 5 likes and we can push the algorithm, shall we? So, a bit of a far-fetched idea. However, I am willing to push the narrative just a little further than so. We all know Mega Evolution. There have been 48 Mega Evolutions since its conception back in 2013, and it's now 2024. We're not getting Pokemon Legends ZA until, I want to say at least spring of next year. So let's say between March and May of next year. This is a video where I'm going to give you guys an idea. Now, if it is true that it's going to follow the Legends Arceus formula, where obviously we're going to have the OG Kalos starters in the wild, and 4chan weeks, I would talk about them, but I'm not going to actually incorporate them. Those are all purely speculation, and strictly so is this video. So, will Mega Evolution be permanent? I know that sounds pretty stupid to a few of you. It might actually sound a little far-fetched, but hear me out. Now, we bringing into concept right there. We know that the Mega Rings are what trigger Mega Evolution for Pokemon that are able to Mega Evolve. However, similar to Scarlet and Violet. Now, again, going back to my Legends, the Stellar type is a prime example of this. I want to say that there is, let's say for example, an Apex Chestnut, right? Let's say an Apex Chestnut in the wild. Excuse me, an Apex Chestnut in the wild. Now, similar to how you had the open world aspect, you know, you catch Apex Pokemon, which are the Pokemon that are larger than the originals and with glowing red eyes, right? Let's say instead of like they did following the formula that they presented in Legends Arceus and adding the Terrasso effect from Scarlet and Violet, right? It's a wild Apex Chestnut that can Mega Evolve by itself. And catching said Chestnut would effectively give you the ability to Mega Evolve said Chestnut. Now, obviously, Legends ZA is confirmed to take place in the past. How far? Not sure. And the little information we did get wasn't enough to clarify whether or not this is true or if it is untrue. So, back to the concept. You're walking through and you see a wild Apex Chestnut, and as soon as you approach it, it Mega Evolves. Or, to even make it more entertaining, it is a Chestnut that is already Mega Evolved, but upon catching it, it reverts back to its original form. Now, we know that Mega Evolution is actually an extension of the Pokemon's true potential. Now, we know this. We have multiple Pokemon that have proven this, like Mega Aggron, Mega Charizard, X and Y, and then we have the concept that every time a Pokemon is defeated in battle, they revert back to their original form if they are Mega Evolved. Let's put that back out there. It is a Apex Mega Evolved, an Apex Mega Chestnut. The only way to stop it is to not only catch it, but also obtain it through defeating it. And after catching Mega Chestnut, you also unlock its ability to Mega Evolve for its own personal battles. Now, to each his own for some people that don't like this, don't like that idea. And let me say it like this: many times have I've seen in the tournaments during X and Y's time period, as well as, you know, Sun and Moons as well. People did heavily rely on Mega Evolution during its time in the spotlight. I can't say that that's a bad thing, but what I will say is simply this: if there is a chance that giving us the open world aspect and catching Mega Pokemon in the wild, much like I talked about in my video for Ash Greninja being in Legends ZA, and again, not going to talk about the 4chan leaks. I've already seen them, and I will not include them in this video because I don't feel like I just feel like they're false propaganda. I feel like the idea is you're going to obtain a way to Mega Evolve certain Pokemon, if not Pokemon you've already obtained. But why I say that there are Pokemon that can Mega Evolve by themselves. Let's take Gyarados, for example. Gyarados is known to be one of the most ferocious Pokemon in the entire series. It's not to be played with. It's one of those Pokemon that attacks on sight. And even in Legends Arceus, for example, you do inherently see a lot of hostile Pokemon, which means Pokemon that would pose you a threat, Pokemon that don't pose you a threat. I'm simply saying that the concept behind having Pokemon that already Mega Evolve in the wild would actually add more flavor to Legends, because given what is already out there, because we already have 48 Mega Evolutions, and I think it's 10 or 15, I'm not sure, I might be wrong, somebody in the comments tell me if I'm wrong, that Legends ZA is going to have at least 10 to 15 Mega Evolutions. And because we never did really get, I would say, DLC for Legends Arceus, considering in the time it came out right behind the Diamond Pearl remakes, or right after the Diamond Pearl remakes, and you know, with the Scarlet and Violet DLCs, we also got those two DLCs within like 8 months of each other, so relatively we never had like a lot of time to really like absorb too much of the DLC aspect. Now, if my assumption is correct that they're going to put Pokemon Gen X right after Legends ZA, if not after the Black and White remakes, which again, still surprised that they didn't decide to do a Black and White remake. Although there's part of me that does believe that they're going to incorporate some form of Black and White in Legends ZA, because we did get a lot of Pokemon from Sun and Moon and Black and White in the last DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So given all of that information, I want to say being able to catch Mega Pokemon on their own versus have to go through the process of paying, you know, for an Ampharossite or a Gyaradossite or a Charizardite, you know, just paying out the pocket for those Mega Stones. And then obviously we got to take in concept, like I said, this is a past version of X and Y, so we still have, like I said, we still have 48 Mega Evolutions to go with, and at the time the X and Y came out, the National Dex was still a thing, so I don't believe they're going to really like cram too many Pokemon in Legends ZA, especially the ones that can't Mega Evolve or already. I know specifically they're going to take extreme precaution, if not overall, with, you know, the idea of every other Pokemon that's able to Mega Evolve. I'm pretty sure most of those Pokemon are going to come back. And with that being 48 Pokemon on its own, and then that's almost 100 Pokemon in its own right, because when you think about it, every one of those Pokemon has an evolutionary line, except like a handful of them. I know Pinsir doesn't have an evolution, Heracross doesn't have an evolution, you know, stuff like that. So it's like Pokemon that don't have evolutionary lines versus Pokemon that do, it kind of defeats the purpose. But sticking to the concept of it, I want to say that if we are given the ability to catch Mega Pokemon by themselves in the open world, it would actually make the value of ZNA more profitable, given the fact that you would have multiple YouTubers saying, "Oh, this is where you get this mega. This is where you get that mega." Like, okay, for example, going back to Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus, when you get to the snow part of the region, you have a Garchomp that is probably the strongest in the region, if I'm not mistaken, because I know for a fact that that particular Garchomp was like level 90 at the time of being captured. So when you take into consideration, it's probably the strongest in Legends Arceus by itself, because it outmatches practically every other legendary that, you know, that's in the game itself. So because every other legendary or every other Pokemon after that is relatively in between levels 70 and 80. So it's like you're not gonna really catch a Pokemon that strong. So it's like if you were to catch like a Mega Tyranitar in the mountainside of the Kalos region, like, and exactly a Mega, I can only imagine that that Mega probably would be at least level 75, if not level 80. Because I know, why I'm even saying that, because if you go back to the Isle of Armor in Sword and Shield, the first thing you see when you walk out after doing the introduction, you see a Whale Lord that's level 80. So it's not like Pokemon doesn't want to lightly salt and pepper the concept that you can see these Pokemon. They want you to know that these Pokemon are in fact available. So it's like when you see, like, out of the entire Isle of Armor, you literally have that one particular Whale Lord. Now, I know Whale Lord is not really the best of the bunch, but it's like you see a Whale Lord that's directly in your field of vision, and it's not like a bad Pokemon. It's just the fact, like, it's a Pokemon that's really in the open world and it's level 80, making it the strongest in the entire DLC. So frankly, when you really think about it, catching a Mega Pokemon in broad daylight, not that bad. It means you can put in some extra effort, get a couple potions, make sure you got your best of the best Pokemon, some Pokemon that you already Mega, and next thing you know, boom, you got you another Mega. And like I said, if anything, and I'll just throw my caution to the wind on this one. It's possible that Legends ZA could have at least one DLC, because I know they said, because Nintendo did say they had an intention to give Legends Arceus a DLC, because originally the plan was not to introduce Scarlet and Violet until 2024. I mean, I'm sorry, until 2023. So it was like, the fact that they had initially planned for Legends Arceus to have DLC kind of makes me think like they could effectively go back a little further, and, you know, they might say, hey, let's run it back, maybe we can do something better with this. Because if any of the leaks are correct, which I say most of the leaks are like 50 and 50, so I never tell people to really believe leaks on their own, because like I said, could be taken for granted, could be taken with a grain of salt. I feel like most people need to think about the possibilities of versus the possibilities against. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You think Mega Evolutions in the open world would be a good idea, or am I just gassing it up for no reason? Let me know in the comments.